Welcome back to part 2 of electrosurgery. Last time we covered monopolar and bipolar basically. Shout out to Parrot Den. The comment section remains undefeated because Parrot Den said it's like welding. And yes, electrosurgery. If you stick around, I'll loop that in at the back of the video. We're gonna try something new. I'm using my GoPro camera to try and link in LinkedIn. I can't believe I just said that. I want to be inclusive to the folks on YouTube, but editing might be a real nightmare. So we'll kind of just see how this goes. If you haven't watched part 1, you can go back and watch that, but we're going to get into Bovie settings. So Bovie settings, the word Bovie is a catch-all term for not only this pencil, that's a Bovie pad is a Bovie, and the generator is also a Bovie. It's all used interchangeably. It's confusing at first, but when you work in the OR, you understand exactly what it is. So let's talk about the Bovie generator, which is called the electrosurgical unit. It'll have a setting for cut, and it will have a setting for Coag, unless you're using a bipolar, which is just cut. That will come into play later. A very common setting that you see in the OR is going to be 35-35. 35 for cut and 35 for Coag. So this is just an arbitrary manufacturer setting. It's not actually measuring anything. Think about your cooktop. When you turn your cooktop to 4, that's not 4 BTUs. That's not 4 degrees Celsius. You won't be able to cook anything at 4 degrees Celsius. It's just a setting. You're like, oh, I know Using my lived experience of the cooktop and repetition, I know that that is approximately medium, and I know what that medium setting is going to do to my food. Same thing with 35-35. That is a manufacturer setting. And it could differ slightly between manufacturers, just like your oven does. Oh, my oven cooks hot. Oh, my oven cooks cold. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. Between the cut and Coag functions, there are specific settings. 2 of those settings being pure cut and pure Coag. In the pure cut function, current is high, but voltage is relatively low. And that current is continuous. It's uninterrupted. Continuous uninterrupted current is also what bipolar uses. So that's what bipolar is. This creates rapid, intense heat that vaporizes cells almost instantaneously. Think temperatures in excess of 100 degrees Celsius or higher. Water in the cells then turns to steam, the cells then explode, and you get a really clean cut line. Heat dissipates quickly into steam, so you get very little coagulation. Ken's going to be our lovely assistant, so when you're on pure cut mode, the tip of the Bovie should be held slightly above the tissue so that electrons arc through the air. And since air has high impedance, this creates even more resistance, generating more heat for cutting. Pure Coag mode, we're going to increase voltage, but we're going to decrease current. So it's going to look a little like this. So high voltage. Then we're going to lose current. High voltage, lose current. So it's only firing 6% of the current is only going 6% of the time. The high voltage is compensating for the times when current is not flowing. This intermittent delivery causes cells to heat up and cool down, and heat up and cool down, and this creates coagulation. You're denaturing the proteins, creating that crusty eschar. The higher voltage also creates an arc or spray over larger areas, and that is called fulguration. Indications for fulguration would be a liver bed after you take out the gallbladder, lobectomies of the liver, when you're messing around with the spleen, big solid organs. Rarely are we using pure cut and pure Coag. What are we using most? Blend. Blend is 50-50. Current is flowing about 50% of the time. With blend, you're going to get varying levels of cut and Coag simultaneously. Blend mode is a surgeon favorite because it cuts as it coagulates. As it moves across the tissue, you're cutting and coagulating. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Now let's talk about smart generators that hit the market in the 90s. These sense tissue impedance in real time. The generator automatically adjusts power output to keep the tissue effects consistent across different tissue types. It's the equivalent of EV self-driving mode, autopilot for airplanes. This keeps your hemostasis levels consistent, and it reduces charring. We're not cooking up charcoal briquettes. For example, plastic surgeons will be hitting that adipose tissue on an abdominoplasty, and they notice that they have a little bleeder on the muscle beneath the fascia, and they'll be like, zzz, zzz, zzz. They'll just hit it with the Bovie, and you don't have to change the settings, which Makes my job easier, I can just sit on the throne. So to wrap this up, electrosurgery is indeed human welding. Pure cut mode is equivalent to your high-speed welding torch. That's continuous arc for rapid material removal. Pure Coag is your spot welder. Intermittent bursts to fuse and seal. Your blend mode, well, that's your TIG welder. Okay, that's controlled fusion with precision. How did this work out for everybody? Are we good? I might just have to suffer and film 2 different versions, one for TikTok and one for YouTube, but thanks for coming along with me. And if you can believe it or not, there is going to be a part 3 because we have to talk about electrocautery in minimally invasive surgery, so stay tuned for that.